Hello everyone. So in this series we'll be talking about all the tricky or unorthodox concepts of Python. So if you don't know anything about Python, better to start with the basic tutorials which are there on W3 School or Tutorials Point or the Data Monk. We will talk about everything which is a bit tricky, which might be asked in an interview and which might uh, take you for surprise. So to start with, there might be very simple concepts as well, but try to go ahead and just clear your basics if you are missing out on something. So as you know, we can easily start with defining a variable. You can define a variable using directly using the is equal to symbol. You can directly use uh, quotes to start with string. If you do a multiplication, if you multiply two integers, it will be multiplied. If you multiply an integer with a string, it will be multiplied thrice. Okay, it will appear three times. Okay, so it won't throw an error in most of the language, maybe in Java or C or C++. It might throw a language saying that the types are not matching, but here in Python it's easier to play around with your strings and various different variables. Then to again look into the types. So type is a command, type is a function which actually gives you the type of data. Okay, so if you have an integer, it will give you an integer. If you have uh, float, it will give you a float. This is a complex number and this is a string. The thing which you need to concentrate on is that Python is case sensitive. So if you write x is equal to Nitin and x is equal to 1 2 3, it will give you integer for x, and for this one it will give you string. So capital X is Nitin, it is string. Small x is 1 2 3, it's integer. Capital Y is 10.334, it's a float. And z is 10j, which is a complex number. So make sure that you understand that Python is case sensitive. Okay, you can also have boolean as a type. So if someone asks you how to create a variable with boolean, you can actually write it as y is equal to true or y is equal to false. That is one way, but another way is to give a condition and you can create a boolean. Okay, boolean variable. So this is one thing which actually shows that you know how Python works. Okay, very simple concept, but this might be asked maybe in the start of an interview. Then again, there are these basic things that if you define two things, if you define two strings, you can define either use a single quote or a double quote. Z is equal to input will give you an input window. Let's try this. So this gives you an input window. You can say love analytics, and it will just print it over you. Okay. Now, in order to concatenate things, you might use a very simple method, that is a comma in to add the strings. Okay, this is also a simple way of adding adding two strings. Okay, mm, good. So one is equal to input. You can take an input of any integer or something. Yeah, this is also important. This is important to understand how a string works and how you can actually access a particular component of a string. So if you have x as the data monk, then if you print x2 under square braces, then you will get the value of that index. Remember, Python is a zero index language and it starts with 0. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2. Okay. But when you go back, it starts with -1. So if I do a -2, then it will print me n. Okay, so yeah, length of x will give you the total string length. So these are the basics. We'll catch you in the next video of 5 minutes. Thank you. If you like the video, you can subscribe it or at least give it a thumbs up. Thank you.